Today we'll be going over the Dowel hip hinge. At Canopy Wellness, this is one of our favorite movements to teach. It's very applicable in everyday life, whether you have a child to pick up off the ground or bags of groceries. Or this is the start of our movement before we start to teach the squat. You may recognize this as a straight leg deadlift. So grab yourself a dowel. You may also use a broomstick handle or a meter stick as well. So I'll show you on Mackenzie here. We want 3 points of contact on the dowel to accentuate our neutral curve in our spine. You want the base of your sacrum in between your shoulder blades and the base of your skull. So you notice here that you have a forward curve on your cervical spine, backward curve on your thoracic spine, and forward curve on your lumbar spine. So this dowel here is just accentuating those natural curves and allowing us to find this neutral spine position. Now Mackenzie will show us some ways not to use the dowel when we're trying to align our spine. So you can see here she's losing one of those points of contact in these different positions. The goal is to keep the 3 points of contact the entire time. So again, another diagram of what not to do. That base of the skull should be tight onto the dowel. In between the shoulder blades should be touching the dowel and the sacrum. So this is just some examples of spinal movements that are off. Next, we will go over where our hips are. So you can see where my hands are placed here. Some people may think this is the hips, but it is actually your iliac crest. So I want you to kick up your leg, karate chop where the crease is, kick up your other leg, karate chop where that crease is. This is where our hip is. This is where our femur bone goes into our pelvis bone. Now let's practice hinging here by pushing back the hips, karate chop yourself and push your hips backwards, trying to keep that neutral spine position, slight bend in the knees. Just practice this a few times before we jump into the dowel hip hinge. Now you're ready to grab your dowel. Again, we want to make sure we have those 3 points of contact before we start hinging. And let's go through our checklist. 3 points of contact with your feet, tripod feet. Base of the big toe, base of your little toe, and your heel on the ground. Slight external rotation at your knees, like you're screwing your feet into your ground. Strong core position, neutral spine, active shoulders and core, and now we hinge. Slight bend in the knee. Again, you can see Mackenzie is just hinging as far of where her mobility takes her. So she's keeping that 3 points of contact on the dowel the entire time. Again, your hinging doesn't have to be this deep. Just be enough as to where you can still keep contact on the dowel. Ensuring that we have this nice neutral spine, that we're staying active through our core and our hips. We're keeping our tripod feet solid on the ground and slight torque through the knees. Now we're going to show you some wrong ways to do this. As you can see Mackenzie here, as she's hinging, she's losing placement of the dowel on her spine. This is what we do not want to see. We want to make sure we have those 3 points of contact the entire time. If one spot comes up, come up to the top and readjust.